go to the Bahamas? You didn't? Why are y'all here? Y'all should be in the Bahamas or London. Never been to London. It's on my list. Why wouldn't you guys do that? Bosses?
Yeah, the budget just didn't seem to accept that this year.
Tony, I thought you were the boss. You pretty much make decisions on your own, can't you? I hear they played well. Did they play anybody of substance?
No.
Absolutely not. Not really.
You guys are playing much better competition right now.
Pickup game.
Yeah.
Really, still sounds like they did well. It's a pretty neat place over there. Makes me question the sport I chose. Coach Carey gets to go to London, and Coach Huggins goes to the Bahamas. Right over there, huh? When do they come back, you know?
Friday.
Come back Friday? Both of them?
Saturday, with it.
Women are Saturday?
Saturday.
And,
You might want to take camp next year to the Bahamas.
well, you gotta stay in state. The best I can do is a Greenbrier. Not too shabby. I doubt the Saints want to scrimmage us. I guess the Patriots are going there in what, a week?
Yeah.
That'll be fun. And then we could actually move camp down there in this time of the year, but there's nowhere else besides there to go, I guess. Yeah, what else you guys want to talk about? You can tell I don't have a whole lot. This practice 10, feel real good about where we're at. Getting a lot of good reps. I think we've taken about 425 live reps and over 550 team reps. So we've got a lot of stuff going in, a lot of ball being played. Making progress on all three sides of the ball and maintaining health in the meantime. So, today we'll get out there in full pads and work on some 2-minute stuff, work on some third down stuff, and work on some 4-minute offense stuff. So, big day for us today. We will back off a little bit tomorrow with the amount of volume we do. We'll still be in uppers, we'll still be in pads, and we'll be full pads in the uppers, which limits what we can do from a tackling point of view. But that'll lead us into Saturday, where we'll get probably about 100 plays on Saturday, which will be our first real big scrimmage, which will hit all the situations. So, what's today? Thursday. So when I meet with y'all on Monday, are we meeting Monday, Tuesday?
The following Tuesday.
Oh shoot! So we're got a whole week off.
You have to wait.
I have a week off. Y'all, but far from off. Although it is pleasant when that happens.
You could invite us around on Saturday and let us
I could.
watch just because
I could.
you're Monday.
I could. I do what I do to the team at times. I sometimes just stand in front of them and say, I see how y'all act, and then we'll make decisions on what's in the future. Let me read y'all's columns here for the next 3 days, and then we'll make a decision. Any specific questions that anybody's got?
Coach, with Russell, I mean, a lot's been made of Wendell and the versatility and stuff. Have you seen Russell come into camp with trying to show that he can be on the field in almost every situation?
Not yet. Not yet. Want to. I know he's got it in him. The perception of him being a dominant force is far greater than what reality is. I'll be the first to tell him that. So, he's a big physical, determined kid that doesn't play like that all the time. My job is to get him to do that starting game 1.
So concentration, effort, what is it that you want to see out of him?
Probably a little bit of everything. Probably a little bit of everything. It's easier for Wendell to do that because of how involved he is in the pass game. And regardless if we're full go tackling to where it's a lot of collisions, Regardless if we're practicing like that or we're in a controlled setting or a non-contact setting, Wendell can be Wendell. Where Shell's going to be a between the tackles guy that needs to lower his shoulder and get hard, tough yards. So the only situation we see that in is in live, full contact activity. So he doesn't have as many opportunities. When the opportunities are there, he needs full care. And we're working on him doing that and maintaining health in the meantime. So it's a fine line there. By no means am I disappointed in him whatsoever. I want to see him be dominant every time we give him the ball.
I think it was Monday. You mentioned that Shelton was trying too hard, which I guess is some people's thing, and other people maybe it's not. But how much of coaching like that is subjective, where it could be just different from person to person, and then how hard is that to gauge when there's 100+ people out there you're trying to?
Not hard to gauge. We treat everybody fairly. We coach everybody differently. So he's a guy that puts a lot of undue pressure on himself. And wants to be good really bad. You can sit there and say, well, everybody wants to be good, but reality sets in with a lot of kids at times. So he's made reference to me in passing that he wants to be the best that I've ever coached. And I'm like, just let's hold on here and have a good sophomore year. So he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and it means a lot to him. He tries really hard. He goes full speed just all the time. You guys saw that on covering kicks last year. That he plays really hard and he plays really fast to the point where he kind of gets out of control all the time. So he needs to take some deep breaths and relax and quit putting so much pressure on yourself and let the game come to you a little bit. So we're working on that with him. He had a couple of bad days there and regrouped and had a couple of pretty good days here the last few days. So he just needs to stay that, keep that path and keep that mentality moving forward.
Dana, when he has bad days, is it missed assignments and technique, or is it just dropping balls?
It's dropping balls, too tense, fights it, that sort of thing. He's got really good ball skills. Saw this in recruiting when he was up here in camp. He could just flat out go get a ball and catch it over his shoulder. Some guys have a very hard time with the transition of catching the ball over the shoulder, and have very good ball skills when it comes to attacking the ball this way. He's as good as anybody I've coached as far as going and getting the ball, but he fights it when it's coming at him. So you fix that through repetition. Just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
You've seen similar situations with his?
Absolutely. Yeah, Joe Filani was like that back in Texas Tech. He's the one that comes to mind. He had two balls that go right through his head and his hands and hit him in the head and bounce straight up in the air in front of 80,000 people. Ruined him for a year. And a year later, a year later, he was a two-time All-Big 12 player. So guys if the game slows down, guys relax. They become more comfortable and confident with themselves, hand-eye coordination, ball skills, and all that. So he'll work it out. My job is to get him there now. Not going into his junior year. It's not busted assignments. He understands what to do, and the effort's really good. It's just trying too hard.
And I know they haven't had a chance to accomplish much yet, but as a group, has your wide receivers got as much potential as any group you've been around? I mean, depth-wise and to different guys to stand out.
That word potential is pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
We all understand that. That if they develop, then they'll be as good as any of the ones we've had collectively. Realistically, when we get there this year, it'd be hard. But like the bodies, like the talent, there's if you go back and really figure out why did Kevin White have the year that he had, he developed and took the next step. There's no question about that. But the relationship that existed between him and Clint got him the numbers that he had. It just did. So that relationship with quarterbacks has got to develop and there's got to be great timing, and you know, that's stuff you can't coach. That's just stuff that's got to happen over a period of time.
Is Tequila playing more inside again, or?
You know, he can do whatever we ask him to do. He can. He's the most versatile guy that we got. He's a great kid, hard worker, smart, understands the game, has a lot of experience. Can play outside, can play inside. Physically, he can do any of it. So, you know, where he ends up is going to probably be dependent on where we need him.
Danny, your wide receivers, you look at first-year wide receivers, they usually are somewhat erratic. Can you expect a lot out of your first-year guys this year, or is it just not realistic to what you may have to wait a year before you really see them perform?
I'm trying to think of the last freshman receiver that's been productive for us. Nobody here. Nobody at Oklahoma State. Nobody at Houston. Haven't had many. You know, across the country, there's been some guys emerge as freshmen. So, what's to say these two kids can't? It's, you know, without putting undue pressure on them, they've got a chance. They got as good a chance as any of the other guys we got right now lined up. So we'll see what happens. Katie Cannon did it last year for Baylor. So it can happen. That, you know, and we talked about this the other day, of all the freshmen that are on our team right now, those two got the best chance. They ain't redshirt, but you know, whether they end up being the go-to guys or not, there's a lot of practice and a lot of days ahead to figure all that out.
Dana, after almost 2 weeks, depth chart is constantly changing, I'm sure, but has it changed much?
Yeah. More so offensively than defensively. I think we could probably all pinpoint who our 11 are on defense. The great news defensively is who are the next 11. That changes daily. Offensively, receiver and probably a guard spot are constantly changing. And again, you're going to have another probably 6 guys that are going to factor in, which probably constantly changes as well.
What do you mean another 6 guys?
Well, just offensively, I mean the 11 plus another 6 who's going to play. You know, if we rotate guards, if we, you know, another center, another guard, or tackle, or you know, another back. You need more than 2 backs. A third back. Who's that third back going to be? The next back in. How many tight ends? Who's the third and the third inside, the second and third inside receiver, the third and fourth outside receiver? That's what's changing.
Do you have any inclinations about who those might be right now?
No. When are we going to release the depth chart, Mike? You're in charge around here.
We can maybe the end of the week.
He's in charge.
Really? When
You were thinking 2
release-
weeks, right?
End of the month.
How about in pregame when we run out there for Georgia Southern?
That sounds good.
We got that right. I mean, I could put something together and put a 2 deep together, but it's gonna change. I mean, it's because I asked him for one, actually. I haven't even looked at one yet, so I'll see what he's got, and I'll look at it and start scribbling some things. And based on what the articles look like here over the course of the next week, we'll see if I want to release that or not.
The situation with Chino Smith up in New York, it's obviously kind of, you know, for most anyone, this surreal kind of bizarre thing, you know. As someone who coached him for 2 years, how surprised were you when you first saw about that?
Yeah, surprised. I mean, he talked to my son the night before, and I've been following him a little bit, and was having a great camp. I made a comment a couple of weeks ago this summer that I thought this was the year that he was going to explode onto the map into the NFL. I thought he was really going to have a good year. So hopefully he hurries frees up and recovers from it and gets back to work. It's a setback. Disappointing to hear. I don't know the details whatsoever. So.
Dana, of all the reps,
Brooke is not rotating a lot of backups through his first couple of years. Do you guys intend on trying to use more this year as your depth to that point where you can do it?
Yes. It's hard to do it when you don't have depth. You know, when your next guy in, I mean, and we've done it to a lesser degree based on performance in a negative way. So I'd like to be able to do it because of performance in a positive way, which I think we're at that point now. You know, I've been happy with 4 of the backups. So I've been happy with 9. That doesn't mean we're rotating 9 by any stretch of the imagination. You know, Bosch came back yesterday and had a good day, so he's going to be in the mix for a starting job. I didn't say he's starting. I said he's in the mix. Grant's been doing some good things. You know, Stone's pretty solid. He unfortunately backs up one of the better centers in football, but you need to have that guy come in and be available to go. So you know, Marcel's been doing good, better than he's been doing. You know, his effort's been good, so he's improving. We got some options, and you'd like to be, and we talked about this with Godney. You know, you got to be able to have a plan for a young kid. You know, not too many freshmen playing O-line right now in the Big 12, so you got to have a plan to be able to, you know, kind of rotate those guys and keep them fresh. That O-line is the hardest position to play. So you know, the more help you can give those guys without breaking up the continuity of what those guys are doing, the better.
with all the reps you've had on offense against defense, have you seen enough to have an idea if your pass rush up front can be better this year?
Yeah, it should be. Noble looks good. You know, we relied on so much, the blitzing aspect of it to get there last year. And in the scheme defensively, you're not going to have just a bunch of sacks with the nose and those two ends when they are playing every down defense. They hold the point to where other guys can get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see it number 8, number 9, 35, 36, 42. Shoot gaps is better than I've seen. The D-line aspect of it, Noble looks good. You know, Larry, we know Larry's got some twitch to be able to get there, so I think we'll be better. I know the technique aspect of the front is night and day better than what it was a year ago. Bruce Hall understands this defense and how to coach it. Being on the other side of it, watching it, I can see a big difference.
Having said that, can they get to the quarterback without blitzing, you think?
It's hard with 3, you know, unless you're in a pass defense. You know, I mean, just look when you know, how many sacks did the D-line have my first year here? You know, a lot of it came when they just widened Bruce out and shot off the edge. You know, that's not an every down defense. This defense, so yeah, it's improved, and the more you can do that, the better off you're going to be, certainly. You know, and we're in a better place now than we were a year ago.
Has anything worked its way out with your 3 young quarterbacks? Have you made any decisions there, or?
William's getting the vast majority of those reps. He's really done some good things here lately, so I've been very happy with his progress. Chugs has had a very sore shoulder because he's not used to doing what we're asking him to do over the course of 10 days, so I rested him the last couple of days. He'll be back in action, you know, so, and so, you know, right now it's you know, William has been concentrating exclusively at quarterback. Not to say we can't do some other things with him. We can too if needed, but a backup quarterback is pretty damn important. And he's doing some things that I've been happy with from his progress point of view. So.
Is he almost to the point where you would feel semi-comfortable putting him in a game?
Oh, absolutely.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's just got to keep getting better. The biggest knock I had with him in the spring is he'd give the ball up. And he's doing a much better job of protecting the ball.
So, what your expectation was for him coming out of spring has changed because of his development during camp?
Correct, at quarterback. At quarterback. Plus, I think we got some pretty good people around.
You don't feel the need as much to have him out as a receiver
Correct.
slash guy?
Yeah, because we've had some receivers emerge, which weren't here in the spring. We've had, our running back depth is pretty good right now. So, and then in addition to that, he has to make progress at quarterback. Yeah, all quarterbacks have to make progress from their redshirt freshman, their true freshman year to their redshirt freshman year. So I've been happy with his progress, and I'm going to keep coaching the heck out of him. We're going to see what happens. I don't know where it ends up. Skyler's got to keep getting better as well, and I think he has. I think he has to. He's got a real good, firm grasp on what we want, and he needs to play within the system, protect the ball, and do what we ask him to do, which he's done a good job of that to this point.
Can David Sills be a multi-position player for you?
He's athletic enough. He's focused on quarterback right now. He's athletic enough to do it. Yeah, he's got a redshirt year in 4 years. Who knows what happens? These guys are still in a developmental mode. I view them two as the same, really, as the 5-0 linemen, the 3D linemen, and a lot of these other freshmen that we just fortunately don't need right now. Keep coaching them, and who knows how they progress. Xavier Preston wasn't ready to go a year ago. Didn't play very much. Should have redshirted, but we needed him on special teams. And now he's raising hell out there.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you all. See you.